today we're going to look at SD 46.14. Before that, sorry, one more. 13 first, huh? 46.13. Bandhana Karaka Sutta. A 5.212. The Book of Fives, Sutta number 212. This is on page 113. The title translates as the discourse on the strife bringer. The theme here is about social strife, hinders spiritual development. So this is about harmony, especially in the Sangha and by extension in society. Now once we have this kind of sutta, we can have a good guess that this is about a time when the Sangha is quite well developed. In fact, there are a lot of people. The monastery is very big, very well organized. So we have a lot of people who become monks for the wrong reasons, or maybe too many monks, too few teachers, and so on. So there is strife, there are problems, issues. So this is a very good sutta for us to reflect on, especially today where we have a different kind of society, especially in urbanized society. So there's something we can learn here too. Of course, this is not the only sutta. There's a whole list of suttas here. You can find quite a long list of sutta in the introduction. This is a very short sutta, and let's go straight into it. Okay, the discourse on the strife bringer, A5 212, page 114. At the bottom, originating in Savatthi. Here, we are only told where the teaching is located. Because of the arrangement of the suttas in the Anguttara, the suttas are arranged according to sects. Right? So the Ewang Sutta, the opening remark is only mentioned right at the start of the chapter. So in the beginning of each sutta, we are only told where the teaching is given. So straight away, the Buddha addresses the monks. Bhikshus, a monk who is a source of strife, a source of quarrels, a source of disputes, a source of legal or ecclesiastical cases for the Sangha, can expect to have 5 disadvantages. Okay? So that's why this is put in the Book of Fives. So here, in other words, what the Buddha is saying, there are 5 disadvantages, 5 things which are negative, which will arise if a monk causes quarrels and problems in the Sangha. By making this statement, we know indirectly, of course, that there are such problems, there are such issues. So, what are the problems here? Of course, strife, quarrels, disputes, we more or less know what they are. The fourth one, legal cases. Here, in other words, a monk breaks a rule. Normally, if a monk breaks a rule, let's say a minor rule, what's called the lesser and minor rules, by just confessing, the monk will be able to rehabilitate himself. But there are other cases where monk A accuses monk B and the monk B denies it and so on, so you may have a legal case. So in other words, it's very much like modern legal cases too. So this is very interesting because among the monks of the Buddha's days, you see there's this kind of governance, this kind of arrangement where disputes can be settled by the Sangha. And of course, when people in the Sangha obey such rulings, the Sangha is peaceful. But here, the sutta is saying that a monk who keeps on doing this, and there are cases of such monks in the Buddha's time, 5 disadvantages will come to that person. What are the 5? 1, he does not attain what has not been attained. Okay, so this is in reference to the fruits of the training. Let's say a person becomes a monk, what is it for? There is moral training, mental training, and of course wisdom training. The idea is to attain deep levels of meditation for a monk and then attain at least stream winning, or if not arahathood. So if a monk is quarrelsome, causing disputes, obviously he would not be able to attain such levels. Number 2, he falls away from what has he has attained. Of course, here it's interesting because if you do attain stream winning, you won't fall away from stream winning. So here, the attainment does not refer to the sainthood, the stream winning upwards. It more refers to meditation, especially. To be more specific, we can say the attainment of jhanas. In other words, how do people get deep meditation, deep jhanas? By keeping to the rules, to the moral precepts. How do the moral precepts help? They help us to clear our minds. We don't have to worry whether we've broken any precepts or not. And then it also calms us down, our body, speech. And then mental training helps us to clear our mind. And once the mind is clear, you are able to attain jhana. Jhana is when we completely let go of the body, we have no negative thoughts, no sensual thoughts. Our mind is such that we are truly at peace with ourselves. Sensual thoughts means the mind has to process lots of sense data coming in through the five senses. And we tend to get attracted to some of this sense data which we think are attractive and so on. So the idea in meditation therefore is to calm ourselves, to let go of the idea of judging what is nice, what is not nice, and so on. So then we attain the deep level of meditation. But if you get into a quarrelsome situation, then there's a lot of anger, a lot of hatred. And of course, there's also desire, because we desire a certain thing like respect or honor or gifts. So where there is hate, there is also desire. Where there is desire, there's also hate. They kind of go together. So you find in the suttas where they are mentioned, they are always mentioned together. If not, one is mentioned, you know the other one is just connected with it, right? So they're opposites. And then once you get caught up in this kind of like-dislike situation, lots of negative emotions, you won't be able to meditate. And you will lose that concentration, you will lose the jhana. So that's why it's meant here, right? Then number 3, his bad reputation is spread about. People begin to say, oh, this person's quarrelsome and so on, so they won't listen to him. And he, of course, in the case of a monk, he might not get support, and that would be difficult for him. Now, number 4 is very interesting. This is a psychological one. He dies confused. So if he habitually, yes. Number 4, he dies confused because he habitually quarrels. Habitually, he has negative mind. So we're talking about habitual karma here. So if this person is habitually in the kind of negative state, he will carry on to the last moment. I think there is a way we can know, what kind of mental state we often have. That is why I often advise people to, especially before sleeping, to do some simple loving kindness, right? As you are lying down to sleep, just wish yourself well and happy, wish everyone in the family, anywhere for that matter, even animals, your pets, just say a few words of loving kindness. So habitually, when you fall asleep, you have this state of loving kindness. And when you get up in the middle of the night, also same thing, you go into this state of radiating loving kindness to yourself and to others. And one way you can know that you are doing all right is that the quality of your dream is quite good. You begin to have happy dreams. And if your dreams are regularly happy, I mean, there's a range, you see. Sometimes there might be some sad things, but generally be happy. If you have that kind of happy dreams regularly or good dreams, you can deduce that that's the kind of mind you will have also when you are passing away, that dreamlike state, because you don't have control of these kind of visions. So these are the visions. They're called karma nimitta, karmic signs. So you can more or less say, well, technically nobody will know, only you will see the signs. It will tell you the hint of what's going to come next. So you hear nice sounds or bright lights, very likely the rebirth will be a happy one. So a lot depends on how we behave now, basically. We should be at peace with ourselves, in other words. Otherwise, we can die confused, yeah? So the idea is to die happy, basically. And then, fifth one, with the breakup of the body after death, he is reborn in the plane of misery, a bad destination, a lower realm in hell. Now, normally two kinds of afterlife is mentioned: animal realm, hell realm. Animal realm is characterized by ignorance. In other words, if we are not interested in learning, improving ourselves, all we do is just work to get food, and we say, oh, we just live to eat. That's animal life. We're just feeding the body, we're not feeding the mind. So it is our mind that makes us human. So it's very important to, in other words, learn things so that we engage the mind and we enrich it and we feel happy. So this feeling happy is a very important aspect of Buddhist training. Okay? So because if we don't have the kind of good karma of wanting to learn, of making the mind happy through learning and doing new good things, including meditation, of course, then we are leading this cyclic animal life. Although our body is human, but when we pass away, the human body dies, but the mind is that of an animal mind that's not interested in learning, that just do very cyclic, body-centered things. So we won't be very helpful. So you'll be reborn with that kind of, you look for that kind of body again, because the animal mind will look for animal body, so the new rebirth is animal rebirth. So nobody makes you reborn this way. It's the karma that you create, the habitual karma that makes you look for that kind of new situation. What about hell state? Hell state is characterized by violence. So if someone instigates others to believe in wrong things, or worse, to be violent, you see a lot of that in religion today, mass killing, bombings, and so on. So you can imagine this person does nothing but violent stuff, and he dies in a bomb, in a killing, got shot by someone maybe. So imagine a kind of mind of violence. So according to Buddhist teachings, this person with a kind of mind, although he has a human body, but the mind is one of violence, and that is said to be a hellish mind. Because the way the early Buddhists picture hell is a very crowded place, the most crowded place you can imagine. It's so crowded that you could hardly move, and there's a lot of fighting for space, and when people are living in a crowded place, they tend to be more selfish and violent. So that's the kind of state we fall into if we have a violent mind. So this is why it's meant here. It's not meant to frighten people into believing something or coming to temple. It's a kind of warning to live happily, make sure your mind is used to cultivate happy states so that our habitual karma is good. And then when the time comes to pass away, we're also at peace with ourselves. And this happy mind continues into the next life until we're able to work to cultivate our mental energies to attain at least stream winning. So these are the 5 disadvantages for someone who has a very negative, violent mind, quarrelsome mind, and so on. Number 1, he does not attain what should be attained. Right? He does not spiritually progress. Number 2, he falls away from what he has attained, especially in terms of meditation. Number 3, a bad reputation about him is spread around. People will be afraid of him, kick away. And number 4, he dies confused. And number 5, the next life, rebirth also, will not be a happy one. So the Buddha says, bhikshus, among who is a source of strife, a source of quarrels, a source of disputes, a source of legal cases for the Sangha, can expect to have these 5 disadvantages. So this is a short sutta for us to reflect on. In other words, how do we sort out a situation without causing conflict by trying to use harmony, by using friendliness to solve a problem, to solve a situation. Here, of course, there must be dialogue, and this dialogue must be based on loving kindness, in other words, accepting the other party as they are and beginning from there. There are, of course, other suttas we can look at that talks about such things, suttas like the Dutta Sutta, which talks about the qualities of a counselor, for example, and we should consult that sutta too. So this sutta ends here.